guy Jake Ward. He built a website using AI, and he built 13,000 pages in 3 hours and grew SEO traffic by 466% in 60 days.
Holy God.
It's
Yeah,
mad.
yeah, massive.
Hey lads, how's it going? How are we?
And that's
Hey lads, what's the crack?
good now. Coming to you
You
from
look like you're in
Waterford.
Spain or something.
Yeah, Keen
I
looks like
know.
he's like
Said I'd
quiet.
get rid of the background. Lovely wardrobes there, so why not?
No, he's on the beach somewhere. He's lying.
In Lanzarote.
Right, so I'll kick things off. So first thing I put in this week is just this. So the Google Marketing Live event for 2026 has been set for May 20th. So Google has confirmed that Google Marketing Live 2026 will take place on May 20th, when the company is expected to unveil its latest updates across advertising, AI, measurement, and campaign automation. So this will
We
be kind
should
of
put it in the
interesting.
diary.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's plan to watch that for the day, to be honest, if that's going to be a
yeah.
big. Can you imagine the reveals that are going to happen?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like too it could be a big year for stuff like that. Like there's obviously probably a lot of stuff in the works, even after the patent and stuff that we were talking about
Mm.
Yeah, like
last week.
last year was a big one with all the AI stuff they rolled out and all the changes to like Discover and AI mode and everything. So be interesting.
It's
Have you
going to
ever
be like
joined
that
any of
again.
those, Martin Kane?
No, no, I've watched the lives all right online, but I haven't gone to it.
Maybe something for 27.
Yeah,
Yeah, head out to Palo Alto. Where is it on actually?
I didn't actually check. Probably is out there somewhere though. But yeah, it'd be interesting. And it's like, who knows what could happen between now and May as well, like, you know, so there could be.
I find they're losing a bit of traction because of Claude Code. Everywhere I see now is Claude Code and everything. I reckon that the AI
Yeah.
is that one's now taking over. Gemini killed ChatGPT for a bit, and then Claude came in now and is the dominant one.
Hmm.
So I wonder what they're going to bring out. Integrations are going to be a big thing. Bringing all your ads into one Gemini, being able to export Google Ads into the Gemini. I reckon GA4 data, being able to come and have API connections with real-time data, that's where I personally believe things are going to go massively. I'd say things will do very well in those situations.
Right, and the next, I think is yours, Merkel.
Yeah. What's this one now? Oh yeah. So this is a new study from Graphite.io. So the study, it's called AI is much bigger than you think, and they're after kind of finding that AI tools now generate 45 billion monthly sessions worldwide, which is like the equivalent of 56% of the global search volume. And they found that most of the traffic has been driven by mobile apps like ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Grok, Claude. So in the report, they make the point that when these other kind of studies and comparisons are done for AI search versus like traditional Google search, they generally just compare Google visits against ChatGPT traffic, and they kind of argue that that misses most of the AI usage, and kind of probably underestimates the activity. But I think they said 4 to 5 times, because most usage happens inside like mobile apps. So that's why they included like multiple LLMs, and search engines rather than just Google and ChatGPT. So then when they combine the web traffic and the mobile app usage across all of the kind of major ones, they've found that AI activity equals like 50% of search,
Uh,
globally, and like 35% in the US. So, sorry, I just have some of the key findings here. I just put them there. So in the US alone, AI accounts for 5.4 billion monthly sessions. 83% of global AI usage happens inside of mobile apps. ChatGPT still dominates AI usage with like 89% of AI sessions. And when isolate and search like prompts, like asking questions and things like that, AI use is like 28% of search worldwide and nearly 20% in the US.
mm.
Just so like they excluded prompts that they class as like doing or expressing, and they only stuck to like prompts that are
Questions.
yeah, questions, because like according to OpenAI research, 52% of prompts are information seeking, and they see that as being like the closest thing to traditional search. So I guess like what this kind of shows is that AI is expanding discovery, and it's not kind of reducing search demand. And again, I suppose we've been saying it's not SEO versus GEO. You need to be visible in both LLMs and traditional rankings.
And how do you do it? Through SEO.
So it's kind of I suppose like it's a good way to look at it with the mobile use and kind of
Yeah.
everything, because I guess like everybody has the app on the phone. Like nearly even emails and stuff, like 60-70% of emails are read on a phone. Like you kind of can't really discount that, most, like outside of the US, I guess most people will be on Android, right? Is that fair to say? I don't know.
I think actually most markets are dominated by iPhone.
Are they? Fair enough.
Yeah, I think Ireland is as well. Yeah.
But like it comes pre-built with Gemini into them now, like on.
Mm.
But yeah, and like they had a stat at the end of the article on the Search Engine Journal, and which I thought was interesting. It said that like global AI usage plateaued in July 2025, whereas in the US it keeps growing. It's up like 300% year over year up to like December last year. So like it seems to be outside of the US it's kind of dipping, but inside the US it kind of grows massively. I thought that was interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, you'd wonder why that is. What the
Just the
there is.
just the size of the amount of people over there is that 350 million or something in the US. A lot of
Yeah.
people to get onto one platform.
But it's interesting you said about the phones, Mark, because there's obviously like a huge cohort of like younger people and teenagers and stuff that don't have access to computers that obviously are only using it on their phones.
Mm.
I
And a
don't
lot,
really use Twitter, but you'd kind of see people in replies and threads and stuff, and they'd be just, Grok, is this real?
is this
Grok.
true? Actually, I
Yeah.
saw a lot of we won't get political, but I saw like say there's bombing happening online, and I'm actually seeing that people are asking, "Hey, Grok, is this true?" And they're saying, "No, this was actually from Kazakhstan in 2001 or something," which is
Ah, okay.
uh, it's good. It's good. It's got a lot of heat recently, but with
Yeah.
all those bikini pic things, but then it actually is doing very well at handling disinformation at the moment.
It's funny how quickly we got to a point where you don't know what's real and what's not. Like,
No, no, I can't. Like even now, like I'm seeing emotional videos of things online. It's like someone saving a dog, and then next to you, just see like seven fingers still pop up, just one little bit.
yeah,
You're like, oh, that's not real.
yeah, I know it's mad. Um, right, so
This one was for me. There's a new AI powered configuration within Search Console, which is really cool. You can see here I asked it a query, so it allows you to interact with the data more so.
Yeah.
So I asked it how to view queries over 7 keywords. So you asked it, and it's a suggested configuration within the data. Was you'll see that little regex query there. So I copy and pasted that into the query, got the filter regex, and then on the next slide you'll be able to see that it gave me back a lot of the information there. So if you go down one, yeah, where to find backlinks. So this was just a small little niche site that I have. Where to find backlink analysis service in Ireland, where to find the best e-commerce SEO agency, all those kind of things. So it just shows there's lots of different
Yeah.
queries that can be likely prompts, or if not, they've definitely brought up AI overviews. So very handy. Haven't really used it. You'll see the non-branded queries in there as well. I think that's going to work more for people who are big brands or the domain matches the queries, but I've done it on a few sites and it hasn't captured it properly, but I'd say it will in the future. Well, very handy. It's good because these could be added in as topics within your articles, your
Yeah.
FAQs afterwards if they have high enough search volume.
oh yeah, nice.
Pretty cool.
Um, right, so marketing tip of the week then.
Yeah, I put this one in as well. It's just a quick one, really, where I've been talking to a lot of people, and especially with consensus SEO and getting into LLMs and making sure you're dominating your brand. A lot of people are just using two platforms, but they have all these really cool reels. why not hook it up to something like Metricool or Meetegg or Hootsuite, whichever, and distribute to all the smaller platforms as well, if you can. Like we do that for some clients. And one of the big things is not only do you bring up and get your brand name in the search results, but you're also getting your net out wider, where you might be able to build up smaller niche agencies or niche growth on these platforms and bring them into the main ones, even though you might have two focus ones. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't use it to these other platforms, really. I said it's a great way of getting brand visibility out there, and it's only an extra couple of clicks. So really, you should consider the multi-platform content distribution, even if you don't have massive volumes of followers on it. It's just to help with that authority, help with that visibility.
Yeah, it can be tough as well, I feel like, too, if you're not getting like the views or the on the post, but I guess it still works, just especially like you said, if you've made it anyway for another platform, it's like, what harm throwing it up somewhere else,
Yeah, people are out now because of the short videos in Google. You can get reference in multiple places like YouTube Shorts, Instagram, Facebook videos get pulled into the search results now. So if you're able to get into a few of those, it's very handy.
Yeah.
And just on the SEO side of things, if someone Googles something on those platforms, you do have the opportunity to show up on the niche platforms as well.
Right, so deep dive of the week.
I put this one in. This guy Jake Ward. He built a website using AI, and he built 13,000 pages in 3 hours and grew SEO traffic by 466% in 60 days.
Holy gosh.
Massive. Now I don't know what the site is. It'd be interesting to see what one it is, but I don't know. I reckon someone in Google will be looking at this, and no matter how much Jake says this was unique and organic, if Google spot at it,
yeah. Would you expect that now to take an equally dramatic drop in about 2 months?
For him, I hope not, but I would expect so. I would think that is gaming Google, and if they find out which site it is, I reckon they'd hit it a slap. Now that's my opinion. I could be totally wrong because he does go on a few different things, and maybe it's like it's also here. I put in a screenshot that he put up afterwards, which was hilarious. But he says, "Bring up an SEO heist experiment, trigger all the Twitters, mass spam purity test, won't survive the next core update." Lily Ray comments on the situation, missed the experiment, disclaimer entirely. So he did say it's an experiment, it's a test. So, but it's interesting anyway that something like this can go down. And on the next slide, I just put in a few little bits that he commented on. So he basically said the first 60 days, 13,000 functional pages generated under 3 hours. He actually goes through the whole process, which is really cool. 466% increase in organic traffic. 0 negative signals from Google, ranks driven by long tail, low competition queries. So like that's the big thing, is like just hitting all those long queries, not like really competitive ones. But on the next slide, then he kind of just explains. Now I just put this into Gemini Ask to summarize what he had in, but he did strict JSON schemas, replaced free-form AI writing with rigid data structure to guarantee consistent, predictable quality. Niche context, so he injected 309 specific niche profiles, audience pain points, sent prompts to avoid generic find and replace content, decoupled architecture, separated the content layer from the presentation layer, 20 purpose-built React components, and functional UX over thin content. So focus heavily on resource pages and free tools, checklist calculators to provide actual value to users, so passing the useful without search engines tests. So the core takeaway: AI content succeeds at scale when it operates inside strict human design constraints. It should be built, not written. Interesting. So like I'd love to see what site it is and have a look through it. It probably will be announced at some point.
And
if he does put
would
it out
that be
there.
like a lovable site or something? Or I'm just thinking how he actually made it, how he would have actually made the website. He doesn't say anything.
I'd actually have to have a proper read through it and see what I don't think he went into that, but it could be. I'd say it'd have to be some sort of system like that. I don't think a traditional CMS would be very beneficial in something like this. So I'd say something like that would have had to be done. But again, if the search rater guidelines come in and have a look at this, to be honest, I'd say they just to stop people doing this the whole time, they'd probably come in and just say, right. Now that's my opinion. I could be totally wrong. And again, I'd love to see this kind of thing because it would be good to do a couple of experiments like this, but still not going to do it for a client website ever.
Yeah, but I
But
feel
you
like
know what? It
really,
still sounds like an awful lot of work to get it there. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, he says he did. It took 3 hours. That's what he
Yeah, it
says it
took
took.
3 hours to create the pages, but I guess all like
The
the
data,
language,
everything feeds
content
into it.
work, the decoupled architecture, all that stuff. Like I'd say that took. I wouldn't say it's just as easy as writing in a prompt. You know what I mean?
mm,
Yeah, you'd be surprised, but yeah, you could be right. It could have taken a bit, but even if it took a week to get all the
Yeah, it's
data there,
still absolutely. Because I mean,
yeah,
how else? Like I don't know, take you years to add 13,000 pages to a site. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. But I feel like just surely Google have to, they almost have to penalize something like that because the second they don't, then by next week could literally everyone be doing the exact same thing if they
that's
don't
that.
penalize it.
That's why, even though it is helpful and it doesn't have any negative signals, I reckon that's exactly why it will get hit. It's just like, well, like a lot of SEOs who brag about these results, they do fantastic. As soon as it gets picked up by someone and it gets put into the sphere, like yeah,
Yeah,
like there's definitely search raters or someone in Google is there to monitor these platforms and see who's trying to game us, and let's just give them a slap. You know?
yeah, especially if it's all over Twitter or X. I mean, like then it's, I feel like it's sort of game over. Then sure, is this not a very similar situation to the I can't remember the name of the website now. It was something Invest.
Yeah. Invest. Yeah. I wonder how they're doing now, but yeah, could be something exactly on those lines.
Um, but yeah, it's a fascinating nonetheless. It's like thank God someone's doing these experiments because it's great to watch if nothing else.
Yeah, yeah. That's it in a nutshell. It is great to see. It's and that's why, like, even following all the SEOs that they're not doing AI ones, they're doing less risky AI experiments
yeah.
or SEO experiments. It's great that people are doing it. You have to encourage them because, well, we don't. I don't have the time to actually do a lot of these. Even though I'd love
Mm.
to.
Right, so helpful tool of the week. I just threw this in. So this is Stitch. I think you've been using it a lot, Keen, recently during the week.
Uh,
For I have a little picture in here
yeah,
slide about for. It's basically for
yeah.
UA.
So if
Um,
you think about it, like it gives you demos of how an app or a website can look, even an app. But this one example is a website for an artist. We put it up, and I was like, well, how do you want your pages to look? And it's like, well, I don't know. If I had to give him 10 or 15 different versions of how a page would look, that'd take me a long, long time. But like we
Yeah.
did this in 5 minutes on a call. It's like, do you like this one? Yeah, I do, but I don't like that. Do you like this one? Yeah. Is there a different variation? And we just went across the way, and eventually we came
Yeah.
to the one that he liked. So he had all these different options for his art, and instead of going through design formats and spending hours and hours, we were able to use this. And like Figma has something similar with it as well. Um, but we were able to look at this, and then we were able to just build it into WordPress very quickly. The good thing about this is if it's hard to tell in the screenshot, you can actually copy the code out of Stitch and put it into a HTML page where you can visualize how it is going to look as a web page as well. And like fully responsive, you can test it out to see it from responsive method. And yeah, like so we planned out a whole website in an hour's call. That was just one page, probably took 10, maybe 10, 15 minutes. But we got the home page agreed on, the about page, the contact page, we got the product page and the category page all done, signed off within an hour. And we were able to go off and build. There was nothing. So not only was the client saving a huge amount of money, now it's a small business. Obviously, for enterprise web design, we wouldn't be doing something like that. But you should really rely on. But for small business with websites who don't have access to UX designers, to take them through properly. This is just a fantastic one for doing mock-ups and walkthroughs.
I was wondering. It's actually interesting you said. I was wondering with the likes of Figma, Adobe XD, and these crowds that have been around for a long time. I was wondering if they would have had a similar thing to combat this. But you said,
Yeah, I think Figma definitely do. And Figma have templates. I don't know if they have like the creation, but like we just talked to this. Like
Mm.
when the client here was speaking to me, I was just like taking some notes. I took those notes, pasted in the sidebar, and it added. So we were like, oh, what would it look like if we decided to add in some testimonials? And it did it. Can we change the backgrounds to make it more unique? I think he eventually went with the second one in there. was that he wanted the large product image highlighted, not just the normal product one, and he also
Yeah.
wanted to be able to get a contact from a particular page. So, fantastic tool. Really, really love it.
It's funny because like I would have used Figma and Adobe XD like manually there like in college. Only like this is recently too like, but use it manually. But like this is just such a good use case I can see for an AI tool. Like I mean, these things would have take you hours like wireframes, you know. Um, so like this is one that like I'm even personally really excited about. I think this is like
Yeah, yeah. Like someone asked that, like they weren't going with me, but they were working with another development agency over in the US, and I worked with them in the past. And they said, "Look, we like this. We're trying to get our point across. Can you do a mock-up for us to go over them?" I was like, "Wouldn't you work with the company for the mock-up?" I was like, "Well, it's outside scope, and it's going to cost us an extra 2 grand." I was like, "Here, into Stitch, print it off, take this to them, and say this is how you want the page to look." But you're even able to. They had like a really good outline done already. We took the screenshot, uploaded it to Stitch, and said, "Can you make improvements to this? Make the images rounded. We want another section with testimonials. We want the addition of an FAQ section down below. We want a more highlighted call to action, and we can even change the button sizes and have like 3 identical ones. And every time you click on one of these images, you can generate 3 different versions. So it's a fantastic tool. Yeah, it's probably my favorite tool at the moment, to be honest. Anything working on design, especially like when we're doing like Google landing pages. So something for PPC.
yeah, it's good for a bit of quick inspiration too. Like if you're about to build a web page and like just give me
Yeah,
5 options to this one thing, you know, just for a little bit of quick inspo.
yeah. But like there was another client there, they're in SaaS, but like they asked, I asked them, "Can you tell me what websites you love the look of?" They're saying, "I love Stripe website." They were saying, "I love," there was the TechCrunch website. So we said, okay, well, here's 4 websites we love the look of. Upload the screenshots and said, is there any chance you can create something that brings these modern themes into one? And then straight away they were like, yep, perfect.
No, it's brilliant. A great tool, in fairness. Right, so next up, the trend of the week. I just threw in 2 things that have been trending a lot the last 7 days, which is Paddy Power, and then the reason
Mhm.
being, so things like the Gold Cup 2026. So obviously Cheltenham was on this week, so it's obviously stealing a lot of the searches.
Yeah,
Um,
Mm.
but,
Did you back anything, any winners, or?
no, not myself. I had a few friends, right, who I think did very well yesterday.
don't really gamble, no. I'd only bet on myself. I put a tenner on a golf game.
Guaranteed way to lose money.
First
Um,
ball in the trees.
but yeah, so I think that's finishing up. I think today. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of searches for those this week, which I thought was funny. Um, so ask the expert. So I'll throw a few questions now. Your way, and I think I got about 3 of them here. So we'll fly through these here. So first of all, how important are Google reviews in 2026? Do they help us show up in AI search results?
I would put down and say that Google reviews and positive reviews, not just Google, is impacting reputation because LLMs are trying, like an AI mode, are trying to put that search result and trying to find the best possible companies to put onto that first
yeah,
page. I think not only are they looking like all the general local SEO algorithm things, which is your citations, distance to location, all those things matter extremely. But I reckon that the more positive reputation that you have, the more trusted you'll be put into these LLMs. That's my take on it at the moment. I haven't seen any
yeah,
studies, but I don't think they'd be putting in people 1 star into the
yeah.
search results unless there's like no one else there. I reckon if there's 5 star opportunities, I think the LLMs will push those in. So I do think positive reputation is massive.
Yeah, and I think like they don't just look at the maybe the star rating from like a kind of review schema type of thing. They actually read the text of reviews, so I think they have a better kind of a, I don't know, feel is the word, but a feel about the company and the quality of the business. Like so it pulls from details of what customers are saying, and then seeing like if you're very relevant to the question. So like if you
Yeah,
have like a steady flow of like good detailed reviews, you're kind of given whichever the AI is like the kind of the information it needs to kind of put you at the top. Like
Yeah,
again,
it
it
could
comes
help.
back to social proof. Is that the concept?
Yeah, it could help with the consensus SEO if people are saying the same thing, that you're really good at the SEO, transparent. They'd put you in as transparent. I would say that you shouldn't just focus on Google reviews if you have the opportunity. Push out to other platforms as well. Trustpilot, if there's any other directories in your niche that allow those ones, even like Glassdoor, all those things can be very positive.
Right, very good. So next, how does having a YouTube channel help my website show up on Google?
Um, I would say first, YouTube is owned by Google, and they love showing their own video results at the top of search pages. So if you have a video that answers a specific question, like a lot of the time it can place above like the traditional kind of links. So you get that kind of nice spot at the top. Outside of that, when you put links to like your own website in video descriptions, things like that, you're creating like little digital footprints that go back to your site, and then when people watch a video, they find that helpful and then click through to your site. Google will see that as like proof that your website is kind of a good destination for that information. You're relevant and you're worth recommending to others. What else then? I suppose like you're also
I could jump in one. There's one on the citation side of things. All the AI overviews are now citing. They used to cite Reddit a huge amount of times, but now they're citing YouTube. So
okay.
in the AI overviews, if you have videos on a topic, there is a likelihood that you might be cited if your channel and the video is popular enough.
Cool. Yeah. That's mad. That's kind of overtaken Reddit. But yeah, I suppose you're also then you're driving traffic to the site, and then Google will kind of notice when people jump from a video to your website and they stick around. So I guess like you're essentially building like authority, and then having the content in both places, it makes you look like more of an authority, which again tells Google you're a trusted source and can help push you up in the rankings. So like with the reviews, like the more relevant and positive mentions of your brand or your website or your kind of business across the internet, like the more Google trusts you as an expert within your particular niche. So that like obviously will give you a little bit of a nudge up the way.
I wonder too, like, is there anything around the fact that, like, people like we saw with that like AI website, people can say if they want to publish a blog post or a blog article, in like 10 minutes. But is there anything around like is a YouTube video highly respected maybe by the AI because like more effort has to inherently go into a YouTube video, like more it's like there was a human that probably that posted it, like if it's a longer video, like a lot of effort obviously went into it, or like their editing went into it, so like in it itself is more human. It can be, I
Yeah,
suppose, unless it's a pure AI video, but
yeah. I think there has
harder
to be
to
some
say.
sort of metrics behind the videos that show up as well, like genuine, the popularity of the channel, all those kind of metrics
Mhm.
will come into place. But
Mm,
yeah, I would, and it's not just the YouTube. Like your TikTok can
yeah,
help you show up. Short form videos. It doesn't have to be the 16:9 normal one. It can be the shorts. It can be TikTok. It could be
yeah.
Facebook, Instagram Reels. They all show up now in search. So
Yeah.
yeah, an
Like
opportunity to dominate.
I sorry, Keen, just the point you made about like YouTube kind of placing over Reddit. Like I would look at that as being like you said, Ryan, user created content, and like I suppose a lot of people will go to Reddit for like how to's, tutorials, kind of asking questions. And again, if we go back to that report at the start, that's like what most people use LLMs for, is to like ask informational questions. So like if you have a video tutorial, I guess on YouTube, that's like a how to, or you know it might work a bit better in LLM results for you. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of going off on a tangent here. I was trying to
This
That's
this
good.
kind of
what I think.
leads this kind of leads well into the next and final question
Yeah.
anyway, I think. But so with TikTok Shop, Instagram Checkout, etc., is it possible in 2026 to run a business without a website?
Yeah, of course it is. If you
Yeah.
think about it, a lot of the influencers don't have websites. Their entire platform, their Instagram or their TikTok, a combination of all the socials, is their online presence. eventually a lot of them will create their own websites afterwards, but that doesn't mean they haven't grown a successful business online where they're pushing people through to these TikTok shops or checkouts or whatever they're promoting. It doesn't even have to be those ones if they're doing affiliate or
But even
drop shipping or something.
like a lot of trades, you know, like electricians, carpenters,
Roofers, yeah.
builders, roofers, you know, lads that like do power washing and stuff like that. Like they wouldn't necessarily have a website; they just have like a Facebook or an Instagram, and they'd get a lot of business that way, you know.
They can, yeah. The ones that want to eventually they realize that, yeah, it'd be great to have a website for more for, well, it's a new, not a new, it's a diversified form of traffic as well. You know, you're getting organic SEO, pushing your paid media there. Well, that's your social. You know, a lot of people on social, they want to show up in search. If people use search and they show up, brilliant. But other than that, you're interrupting people to try and get them, and you're hitting them at the right time on social media. While if someone is using search to go to a website, they're there in real time looking for their problem solved. So a lot of people that don't have a website might miss out on it. But it all depends on your business model as well. But you 100% don't need a website, but it's just so beneficial to have one.
Have
Yeah.
you ever bought anything through TikTok or Instagram or like that?
I haven't. I'm not of the demographic that I trust
Yeah.
it.
I see. I'm kind of the same. I think that's literally the word. Kin. A lot of people like a website for trust, don't they? It's like you can see all you want on Instagram or TikTok, but it's like someone you might want to see that web page before you commit to buying
Yeah.
anything.
And there's so many scams online now at the moment that it's crazy. And without an official website and something to tie someone back, someone can set up a profile in a few minutes. You know, at least with a website, they have to put in a bit of effort. I know scammers are on there as well, but usually there's repercussions for those people who actually build a presence like that. But yeah, on the online ones, it's not. It's a bit different, and they make it look so professional, like they have, and they scrape other people's details. It's crazy, but yeah.
Right. So I think that's it for this week.
Oh,
Very good.
Thanks, lads, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time, lads.
that's